Of the many talented Florida artists with distinguished careers, only one has provided the source of inspiration for the symbol that represents the creativity and vitality of the Florida artists. Sculptor Enzo Torcoletti has spent more than 50 years as a professional artist in Florida. His vibrant sculptures reflect his high standards of workmanship, allowing him to have what few sculptors ever fully attain: complete creative control of their artwork from inception to final form. Enzo was born in Italy and raised in the small medieval town of Fano on the Adriatic Sea. He was inspired by the Roman artifacts and the marble statues in the nearby art museums. He was an art student in Fano when his father decided to leave Italy and look for work in Ontario, Canada. With no ties binding him to Italy, Enzo finished his course of study and joined his father in Canada. When he arrived in Canada, he did not speak English. To learn the language, he enrolled at the University of Windsor and majored in English literature. When a faculty member from the art department learned about Enzo's art degree from Italy, he asked Enzo to be his assistant. Enzo accepted this role and decided to again take up art classes. This decision proved momentous, as these classes sparked what would become a lifelong captivation with stone carving. After he graduated with a degree in English literature and a Bachelor of Fine Arts in sculpture and printmaking, he decided to further his education. Enzo was offered a scholarship and graduate assistant job at Florida State University in Tallahassee, where he moved in 1969 to begin his master's in fine art. In 1971, he earned an MFA in sculpture and soon after was hired as professor at Flagler College in St. Augustine. Although he had a full-time job teaching, Torcoletti remained deeply involved with sculpting, exhibits, and commissions. Enzo is drawn to natural elements like stone, wood, and metals. Whether his sculptures take on abstract or figurative forms, the overriding theme has been the human form. Much of his inspiration is drawn from primitive art, mythology, and the Greek and Roman statues that he admired as a boy in Italy. Enzo thinks of his art, in his words, as reincarnations of historical art images from the past, rendered in a new fashion and endowed with contemporary design concepts. A point of pride for Torcoletti is the workmanship that he puts into each piece. While many sculptors are forced to outsource some aspects of the creative process, he maintains complete control from the inception of a sculpture all the way to the exhibition. Enzo owns his own foundry in which he can cast bronze sculptures himself. He has also mastered using hand tools like chisels and hammers and is equally adept at using pneumatic tools and specialized machinery with which to shape and cut the material he is working. In 1986, the Florida legislature created the Florida Artist Hall of Fame and sought an artist to produce the award given to inductees. Enzo was selected to make the sculpture based on design concepts he submitted and later expanded on with more in-depth drawings. He wanted it to be semi-abstract but incorporate the female form because Spanish explorers named the land using the feminine word La Florida. The feminine form evokes the muses that, according to Greek myth, provide inspiration for the arts. He wanted to represent the water and the beaches that are so important to Florida's history and culture, so he included elements of waves and movement. The spiral on top of the sculpture is reminiscent of Florida's climate, and the sculpture's shape also invokes the form of seashells one might find along Florida's shores. Enzo carved the initial model from wax and then he made a rubber mold. He used the lost wax method for the final bronze casting. Enzo casts each edition of La Florida himself, placing it on a base of Florida limestone. For more than 35 years, inductees from Ernest Hemingway to Gloria Estefan have received Enzo's sculpture as a symbol of their connection to Florida and their lifetime achievement in the arts. Enzo's other works are featured in museums, galleries, sculpture gardens, and private collections around the world. His work has been featured in several publications, including Florida Sculptors and Their Work, the Sculpture Reference Book, and other textbooks on sculpture. Enzo retired from Flagler College as a professor emeritus in 2007. He splits his time between St. Augustine and near Cagli, Italy, where he continues to sculpt. Most recently, Enzo's La Florida design served as the inspiration for the logo of the Florida Division of Arts and Culture. As Florida's ambassador of the arts, it is fitting that his design will symbolize the creativity and vitality of Florida's arts and culture community for many years to come. Because he has shown artistic integrity throughout his 50-year career, and because of his uncompromising dedication to his creative ideals, and because he provided the inspiration for Florida's symbol of the vitality of our arts and culture community, the Florida Division of Arts and Culture is proud to name Enzo Torcoletti as Florida's Ambassador of the Arts.